Dan Ashworth has been a long-term target for Manchester United, but a deal is not any closer. Highlights: Man United are not any closer to signing Dan Ashworth due to his £20 million valuation. The Red Devils are reluctant to pay a high fee despite Ashworth's success, as it mirrors the likes of top players including Kieran Trippier. Ashworth, however, would have a potentially huge impact on improving United's transfer dealings. Manchester United's pursuit of Newcastle United sporting director Dan Ashworth does not look to be reaching a conclusion anytime soon, and with the potential fees the Magpies could bring in this summer for some of their star players potentially being less than the £20 million quoted for Ashworth. Ben Jacobs has exclusively told GiveSport that Red Devils chiefs are put off. United agreed terms with Ashworth earlier in the season, but having been reluctant to pay his £20 million compensation fee, he's been left in limbo, currently on gardening leave at St James Park. Despite having overseen the club's march to the Champions League last season with the likes of Alexander Isak, Anthony Gordon and Tino Livramento all being signed under his guidance, his exploits have seen United take a keen interest in appointing him to their new-look backroom staff, but with a seismic fee needed to bring him in, the Red Devils have taken a stance on the extortionate rates according to Jacobs, with the likes of Kieran Trippier and Callum Wilson potentially going for less. Dan Ashworth, Manchester United switch latest. Dan Ashworth remains in limbo over a move to Old Trafford. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's minority purchase at United has given fans hope for the future. This summer will mark 11 years without a Premier League title at Old Trafford, and steps are being taken on a boardroom level to ensure that they can potentially challenge for the top flight again in the future after over a decade of poor recruitment and a lack of forward planning. Omar Barada has been recruited to come in and take the CEO job, while Jason Wilcox has been brought in from Southampton to become a sporting director. Ashworth remains the missing piece of the puzzle, but with United seemingly hesitant to take him on due to the fees involved, he could be an incoming that is introduced to the club later in the summer, which of course would be detrimental to their transfer plans. Jacobs, United feel the fee is incredible. Ben Jacobs claims United aren't willing to stump up £20 million for Ashworth. Speaking exclusively to GiveSport, Jacobs claimed that Ashworth's fee could be more than Newcastle bring in for some of their star players who have played a huge part in the Champions League and in their Premier League standing, which has put United chiefs off. He said, "The feeling within Man United, not only due to their finances and PSR, is that it's incredible in many ways, even though they respect Newcastle and they respect the clause, and that the number is down there on paper to buy him out at this stage in his contract. Despite all that, United feel that it's incredible that a sporting director can be priced at £20 million. Callum Wilson might be sold for £18 million, Miguel Almiron could be sold for £20 million, Kieran Trippier could be sold for £15 million, so some of Newcastle's core superstar players might actually demand less transfers fees than what Newcastle are asking for Ashworth if he is to start now. Manchester United just aren't prepared to pay Wilson, Almiron and Trippier-like fees for Ashworth. Dan Ashworth will have huge Manchester United task. United's transfer dealings have been poor over the years. United's squad is littered with transfer mistakes that Ratcliffe and Ashworth will be aiming to cut out. Raphael Varane and Casemiro were both signed from Real Madrid with huge pedigrees, but as aging members of their squads, both have struggled for fitness and form respectively this season, and so the Red Devils will be keen to ensure that simply doesn't happen again. Antony was brought in last summer, but he has failed to impress with just 4 goal contributions this season, and last season's signings of Lisandro Martinez and Tyrell Malacia have spent time out on the sidelines with the Red Devils down to their bare bones in defense. There is a huge job to do at United, but if they do bring Ashworth in, he will be able to oversee their way out of the abyss.